everybody, this is Sarahscopic, and you're watching Traffic Musings. I was thinking about what to talk to you guys about today, and I decided to tell you why certain people think my genes are broken. I mean, I don't think my genes are broken. I think I have marvelous genetic material, but some people think that there's some things that are wrong with me. Insert your short joke now, it's the only time you can. I guess one thing I should mention to you guys is I don't drink coffee. I have never drunk coffee. I have decided not to, for various reasons that will become apparent in a moment. I also never consumed energy drinks. This all includes 5 energy drink, Monster, and Red Bull, and did I miss anything? No, I think that's about it. Vitamin water, if you count those as energy drinks, I guess I have had those, but any other thing that's meant to be an energy drink, I've never had. More on that why later. Basically, I'm sure you're all wondering on how on earth I got through college without having any coffee or an energy drink. As I like to say, I got through college on hard mode. That's a dull joke. The truth of the matter is that I can't stand coffee. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nobody actually likes coffee except for the weird people who like coffee. Everyone just needs the caffeine buzz. You don't understand. It doesn't matter what you do to the coffee, I won't like the coffee. By that I mean that I have this weird sensitivity to coffee, kind of ridiculously so, to the point that the only time I have ever had a sip of coffee that I was okay with was when it was made with molasses. I'm not joking. I couldn't really tell you how or why or when this all started. Growing up, our family didn't really drink a lot of coffee. My father does. That's, I guess, the important caveat. My father drinks about as much coffee as a person who likes coffee drinks. That, I guess, being said that he drinks like a pot a day. I don't know coffee terms. He just drinks a lot of coffee. My brother has now started drinking quite a bit of coffee, or like once a day, and he'll drink more. He'd drink things with espresso shots. Sorry, espresso shots, not espresso. Pardon me. Anyway, he drinks things with espresso shots. My mother, however, loathes coffee and will never drink it, as do I. Growing up, my mother always told us about how she hated the smell of coffee. She grew up with her stepfather always brewing, I don't know how many pots of coffee. And I think her mother, my grandmother, also liked coffee. She can correct me on that one. I know her sisters, my aunts, adored coffee. And my mother hated it. She hated the smell. And I could relate to that because whenever I smelled my father brewing coffee, I thought it was very unpleasant also. I didn't think it smelled that great. I just knew coffee as that kind of pseudo-adult drink that adults drink to, get some caffeine. In fact, actually for a while, I knew it wasn't like alcohol in that there was an age that you were not allowed to have coffee, but I always kind of looked at it as like an adult drink. So when I found out, kids, I'm talking like teenagers, were drinking coffee, at first I thought that was really weird because I think you were supposed to. But anyway, that's a different thing. Growing up, I didn't like the smell of coffee. I thought it was awful and it made me kind of sick. So I just stayed away from it. And my mother was all too proud to just say, no, you don't need coffee, blah, blah. So I just never grew up with it. After a while, and this wasn't until college, that I discovered that not liking the smell of coffee was extremely abnormal. I knew people didn't like the taste of coffee. I just assumed it was one of those weird adult acquired tastes where you basically learn to deal with it so you could get the caffeine buzz. And for me, it just wasn't worth it because it smelled and tasted terrible. Then when I got older, like I said, in college, I found out that there are plenty of people who also didn't like the taste of coffee but adored the smell of coffee. They thought it was very nice and pleasant while I thought it was just killing my brain cells. I really don't like the smell of coffee. It really didn't smell good. Coffee creamer is a different story. Cappuccinos smell okay to me. I will give it that. Cappuccinos smell fine to me. But just like black coffee, no. Or just even if you only put a little bit of sugar or something, it's not enough. You really gotta douse it in something before I'll say it smells acceptable. The taste is still another thing altogether. I just have a weird sensitivity to it. One time I was at Starbucks and there's those weird kind of pseudo milkshake things that don't have any coffee in it that you can get at Starbucks. It's basically, if I know my terms correctly, a frappuccino without the coffee. I seriously know nothing about coffee. I only had known these terms because people have said it to me. And so one time I was trying to order that, but I guess I ordered the wrong thing. And I tasted it, and it was basically what I described, but with a shot of espresso. And I couldn't I couldn't drink it. I had to pitch it. It was terrible. I couldn't. And there's a joke that my friends make fun of me for. I visited Scotland with my choir trip once, and there you can get that here too, but they had their Irish whiskey. I think that's what that's called. It's coffee with whiskey, and one of my friends ordered it. And, they're all tasting it, and they're all going, too much whiskey. I don't like whiskey either, but I took it, and I was like, too much coffee. I wouldn't have liked it anyway, because I also don't like whiskey, so that wasn't really going to work for me, but that's okay. Now, my other lovely sensitivity issue that people make fun of me for is probably infinitely weirder. I call it an allergy, so that people will take it seriously, but it's more of an aversion, but you still don't have it around me. I have an issue with mint. Yes, that mint. It started with me thinking that I just didn't like the smell of it, and ended up discovering that no, the smell was an indicator that I would not like the taste. This is actually not super abnormal for people with allergies, basically due to the fact that their bodies do not want to ingest a said food or item or ingredient. You get a nice little warning by having it smell bad to you. If you ask anybody with a nut allergy, for example, they'll tell you that peanut butter smells awful. It's the same thing with me. Mint smells really bad to me. And for a while, it used to cause some pretty major sinus headaches for me. When I say major, I mean that I would get a sinus headache or some kind of headache, maybe a migraine, I don't know. I had all different kinds of headaches as a child, and I still don't keep them straight. Point is, I would get some kind of headache, and they wouldn't go away for the entire day. Now, my body's gotten a little bit more used to it, so if I smell it, I can usually, shut it off. But the taste is the problem. I can't ingest mint. Now, I don't die or anything, obviously. I do get pretty bad stomach aches, and basically my body tells me to stop eating whatever it is, that it's not good for me, that I can't eat it. It's a really weird kind of feeling. I don't know how exactly to explain it, but it's basically you eat an item and something about it just tastes wrong. Like your body's just really warning you to just stop eating it. And that's how it is with me and mint. How I discovered my mint allergy, whatever you want to call it, when I was younger, when I was first grade, back in my school, teachers would give students peppermints if they had a cough. Now, as a child, I was extremely susceptible to the whole, well, if they have it, I want it too, really badly as a child. Tom Sawyer would have tricked me to paint his white picket fence for him. I was that kid. So lots of kids got to have peppermints because they were sick. And my childish brain went, I've never had a peppermint before. I can't wait till I get sick so I can have a peppermint, because I was dumb. So I was kind of sick, so I got to have a peppermint. And I still remember this. The parapro gave me a peppermint. I had it in my mouth for a couple seconds, and I spit it out, because it was disgusting. Now, I don't really know if peppermint is actually a mint, because peppermint doesn't really make me as sick as mint does, but I think it's just close enough that my body just won't accept it. However, mint leaves are a problem. I cannot have mint leaves. This has been proven time and time again. I have eaten raw mint leaves because I'm crazy, and both times were because they were for boys I liked. Sarah. As a result, discovered that, this is awful! Why does anyone do this? It was further proven to me when I one time had my aunt's tabbouleh, and I was having that sensation where I just couldn't eat it. I would take it, and something was just off about it. I couldn't. And my aunt was asking me, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with this? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with it. I just can't eat it. And she started listing off the ingredients, and mint was one of the ingredients. So, figured that out pretty quick. The main issue with the mint allergy, well, there's three issues. One is that people don't believe you, and when you ask them to stop breathing in your face when they're chewing mint gum, they breathe on your face. Found that out in high school. The other issue is that, toothpaste is usually the first question people ask, what kind of toothpaste do you use? Embarrassingly so, I was actually using Kids Crest bubblegum toothpaste until I was probably about 16, because I didn't know any other kinds of toothpaste. Thank you. I didn't know any other kinds of toothpaste, and my mom didn't really know either. Now, basically, as long as it doesn't say mint on it, I'm usually okay with it. All toothpaste have some kind of mint freshness to it, but as long as it's not mint, I can usually get used to it, so that's pretty good. I try to get orange flavored toothpaste if I can, although I have to take Sensodyne, and so I just have to make sure it's not mint Sensodyne. And and I'm usually okay. However, the other biggest issue with mint is that I discovered later on, I'm also allergic to a lot of mint derivatives. This apparently, and I did some research on it, but I'm a little unsure, but this apparently includes basil, thyme, and lavender. Yeah. I apparently can handle like lavender, and lavender's kind of weird because I can handle, I think, having it on my skin, although I also have a weird allergy to lotions, and we're wondering if that may be why, like if they have mint or lavender to those things. It's kind of weird. I have a weird issue with lotions too, but we're not really sure why. Thyme and basil, however, are very common. Now, it's not like mint, where with mint, if you sprinkle it on, I can't eat it. However, with thyme and basil, if you just sprinkle it on, I'm usually okay. But if you have a base of basil or thyme, especially basil I know for sure because I've had stuff that has had basil in it and without knowing it, and when I've eaten it, it's just like I can't eat this. Like it's the same kind of thing as mint. The basil one's weird because that was when I found out recently, because I thought I had basil before and I thought it was fine, but I think if it's been processed, I can handle it. Because at first I thought I liked pesto, because when I first tried like pesto mayo, I liked it, but then I had like homemade pesto and I couldn't eat it. So I think if it's like processed, it's okay, but if it's not, then my body can't handle it for some reason. I don't know. Thyme's one where if you like put it all over the place, just I can't have it. Oregano, I thought was a spice I couldn't have, but I had it recently without knowing, and I was fine. So that's good. Because people were asking about that too, because oregano is like in pizza, and I can eat pizza just fine. So I guess oregano's okay, which is great. I don't have to deal with that. But basil and thyme are still issues, and mint's the biggest issue. It's really a huge pain in the butt. Thankfully, my nose is strong enough that I can usually detect it. For example, there was one time I had like a microwavable meal, and after I cooked it, I smelled it, and it didn't smell right to me. I was like, something's off about this, and I had that same reaction as I was eating. I was just like, nope, body doesn't like it. And I looked at the back, and it just says other spices, so it probably had too much basil, thyme, or mint or something in it. I'm running a little overtime, so I think I'm going to end this here about why people think my genes are broken. I think I'm just right. I don't know what you're all thinking about. Like, who likes lavender? Stuff doesn't smell good at all. I should add that, yes, mint smells horrible to me. I can understand why people like it, but it smells like if you imagine mint like way too strong, that's how it smells to me. It smells like people are poking pins and needles through my nose up to my brain. That's what it feels like when I smell mint. Just in case you guys are curious. Question for the comments, if you guys care to. Tell me about weird things you have an aversion, allergy, whatever to. People? I don't know. Or maybe you're perfect and think coffee's great. If so, tell me why I'm wrong that coffee is wonderful. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope something amazing happens to you. And without further ado, I hope to see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye!